Yes, hello everybody and welcome back to Sterling Development. In this video we're going to have a look at the legendary DMX and what we can learn from him, even though unfortunately he's passed away at a very young age. Stay tuned. Yes, welcome back to Sterling Development TV. So to get into this video, it's very sad and unfortunate to hear that DMX, a legend himself, passed away at 50 years old due to a heart condition. Not everybody who's watching this video would probably know how big DMX was, but for those who know, DMX was that guy back in the day. He was that guy that a lot of people wanted to be. Rough Riders, you know, one of the original kind of like hip hop guys of my generation to really take hip hop to that next monetary level. Take hip hop to the level of being pretty much commercial. Because a lot of the time hip hop was underground, especially the kind of intense music, controversial music that DMX used to basically put out. But yeah, he was able to spin that around and get it, well, help to push hip hop to that next commercial platform or level, which is absolutely incredible. What I'll say is, just have a look at this clip. We're then going to start to get into what it is that we can take away from the legacy that DMX, the legend, left, and how we can kind of apply certain things to how we go about journeying through this thing we call life.
Drop dead right now.
No, you're not.
That's what I'm saying. If I was to drop dead right now, my last thought would be, I've had a good life.
God damn.
Okay, so after looking at that clip, which personally I feel anybody who can make a statement like that and say quite clearly, if I was to go tomorrow, I'll be happy with what I've done. I've got nothing but respect for that person, like nothing at all, because to be contented with what you've done, accomplished, experienced in life in general, you would have had to have gone through a lot in order to make such a bold statement. And of course, as many people would already know, DMX has gone through a lot during his lifetime, you know, and he went through many different challenges that a lot of people in general would have just given up and just thought, you know what, yeah, this is difficult. Gone a completely different way in terms of trying to push through and trying to establish yourself or establish themselves in life in order to try and be successful or try to be content with chasing what it is that they actually want from life. I mean, let's have a look at some of DMX's accomplishments, right? A successful artist, a music artist. He sold millions of records or copies across the US, all over the world, off the back of the support and popularity that he was attaining through the music. He was able to become a movie star, something that loads of people in life want to do, you know? I want to be on the big screen, right? Of course, it's appealing. Why wouldn't he? He did some absolutely great films. You know, when I was growing up, and I was watching all that, I was like, wow, look at this guy. It looked absolutely amazing. all of those action films, you know, Romeo Must Die, the list goes on, actually just talented, and furthermore utilizing his skills and experience in order to do that. He went from being an underground artist to being a commercial artist, known all over the world, all at the same time, while he was maintaining his hardcore masculine image. There was another word I could have used, but you know, yeah, just being a real person, just being a genuine person, which nowadays is very rare to see an underground artist maintain such an image whilst they've turned commercial. You know, a lot of people turn commercial and they lose that edge about them in order to become more marketable. During the times when I was growing up, there was this need to know if artists was real or not. And DMX was one of the realest, if not the realest at the time when he was coming up. At one point as well, I remember, which kind of shocked me a little bit furthermore, he became a pastor. And I was a little bit confused, like, why did he do that? But we're gonna get into that at some point later on during this video. DMX's accomplishments, as I've only got a certain amount of time, he's got a list longer than my arm, and it's long. So what I'd say is I'd advise people who want to know more about his accomplishments to go online, YouTube even, and have a look and understand what DMX was actually able to accomplish, where he started to where he reached and what he done, which in a lot of cases, people within that particular situational circumstance that he was born into wouldn't have made it that far. You'd just be a statistic. So edging on to DMX's background, he was born in the 70s and brought up in government care. Usually, or should I say statistically speaking, a majority of the people who would have been brought up within that kind of environment would have ended up taking part in violence or criminal activities, right? And unfortunately, DMX was part of those statistics at the time. So of course, he was involved in street life, gang life. He was in an environment that was definitely not child friendly, right? So certain things that a child would need, you know, like care, attention, he didn't have access to, or he didn't receive that at the time when he needed that. Which leads me on to my next point. So one of his mentors within the environments that he found himself in gave him a blunt laced with crack cocaine, and that put him in a position where he had to battle that for the majority of his life, if not the entirety of it. In terms of being someone's mentor, right, and setting someone up to fail like that, you can't get any lower than that. And it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad to be in a position to mentor someone and then puts you on a path of eventual self-destruction. It's sad. However, despite all of the odds, his circumstances and environment that he was pretty much born into, he was able to turn that around and become a worldwide acclaimed and known superstar. You have to think to yourself, everybody has problems, everybody has issues when they're growing up in life or at various stages of their life. But it will always come down to how do you overcome it, how you deal with it, or how do you adjust in order to achieve the aim or the goal that he was looking for in the first place. A lot of people can come across some issues and they might not even be that big, and it's like, you know what, this put me off, that put me off, I can't be bothered to do it, it's too much headache, right? And that particular thing, whatever it may be, if you had stuck to it, maybe that could have been your big break. You never know. Because at the end of the day, it always comes down to a person's ability to reason and work out, is what I'm doing going to bring me closer to what I want in life, or is it going to push me further away? And that's where, as an adult or teenager growing up, you have to be able to utilize that skill, because it is a skill. Sometimes you might look at something, think to yourself, oh, yeah, I want to do that. But in reality, it's just going to bring you further away from what you want. And there's sometimes other situations whereby you might not want to do something, right? You might not want to go to work. You might not want to go to school. You might not want to stay up late working on that project. But that could also be something that would have brought you closer to the end result of where you were trying to get to. You have to pay attention sometimes.